Lots and lots to talk about today. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack, live at the PHNX headquarters in downtown Phoenix. And Cardinals make it official, basically announcing new uniforms. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Cardinals' robust list of top 30 visits. But we got to start as the D-Hop world turns, Brack, via a friend of the program, Albert Breer, reporting this morning, Monday Morning Quarterback, that the New York Jets have interest in acquiring Hopkins, which I call BS on. But first, let's talk. Give me your opinion on this whole Hopkins saga, and do the Jets even fit in terms of a trade partner?
I thought we were going to talk about what's in the box.
We're going to talk about what's in the box.
What's in the box? Come on. What's in the? Are we really? We're going to talk about potential DeAndre Hopkins trade rumors to the Jets, right?
All right, take over the rundown.
Take over the rundown. They have to pull off first. That's the biggest issue here, is that the Jets, they have to trade for Aaron Rodgers first and foremost to make any other deals after that. So all of their draft capital is on hold until they pull off a deal for old A-Rod. But no, I mean, it was during his mailbag, and Breer basically said, would they be interested? He says, yes, I believe that they would under certain circumstances, right? Because they were in on Odell Beckham Jr. Why wouldn't they be in on a playmaking wide receiver? They should be in business of potentially building around a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So that's where Breer's coming from. It's not like, hey, there's this team you can add to the list. It's like, yeah, they would, like, once they secure Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be looking to build a roster just like Tampa did again with when they got Tom Brady back in the day.
But Bo, you pointed that out to our guy Dove on Twitter, and Dove's like, no, because Dove, what's his name, Mr. NFL rumor aggregator on Twitter, came out and tweeted this morning the Jets are in on DeAndre Hopkins. So everybody's running with that, and then at the end of the day, you got to go to the source. What's the source? It's Albert Breer, and the article was very speculative. Now, could they be in play? Sure. Just like, 30 other NFL teams. But, well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, first of all, the Jets have $9 million in cap space. And I had people like coming at me snark, like, well, they can make it work. Well, they, as you pointed out, they haven't pulled off their A-Rod trade yet. They don't have a third-round pick. Now, they have 2 twos, right? But are they giving up a 2 for both Hopkins and Aaron Rodgers? Are they giving up a 1 and a 2? Are they going to gut their whole draft class? Like, I put the Jets at, like, the bottom of the list. I just don't think it's conceivable. Not because I don't think they don't want D-Hop. Of course they do. But when you have those competing priorities, clearly the Rodgers trade has to happen first. That takes precedent. So maybe if, like, the Rodgers trade happened before the draft and then the Jets are on the clock in round 2 and they're like, we don't like what we see, maybe we'll trade a second to the Cardinals, which would be nice. They have too much other shit they have to deal with for them to be able to figure out. Because Adam Schefter was on NFL Live today and basically said what's holding up this entire thing is D-Hop's contract.
Right.
$19 million as a base salary, $30 million cap hit. Now, Cardinals are going to eat some of that, but it's just basically he threw water on the idea that, a trade was close with anybody because no one wants to take on D-Hop for that amount of money, which I think is the sticking point right now today.
It's a daunting number, especially when Brad Spielberger, I thought he did a great job in kind of breaking down the scenarios and probably realistically what has to happen in order to get anything in return for what you view as one of your top assets for a new regime in Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon that come in and look at what's available for the Cardinals and what can maybe help kickstart or jumpstart a rebuild. So, if you want to get anything of value and not turn into, the Amari Cooper trade from Dallas an offseason ago, then you're going to have to get very creative, right? And the Ravens got creative with Odell Beckham Jr., and they were able to create void years. So it's a 1-year deal, but it's a 5-year deal, right? And they're paying him. They're taking cap hits for the next couple seasons for it, but they figured, look, we need to boost this offense. We need to make our quarterback happy and Lamar Jackson, give him a playmaker unlike he's had his entire career. And then also just kind of, we have to figure out how to do it. And, I think the Arizona Cardinals, Brad outlined a couple different scenarios that could make it easier to take on that contract from DeAndre Hopkins. But it gets complicated, obviously, with his representation or lack thereof. Steve Keim, you can say what you want about him, but he admitted, like, just dealing with players straightforward and not with agents, it complicates things. So that's what's going on with DeAndre Hopkins. And it's like, can the Arizona Cardinals, how much are they willing to work with the financial aspect of this? What's the ultimate goal? I would believe that the ultimate goal is to get an asset in return for one of your top assets, right? Draft capital. That's the only thing that they should be vying for. Otherwise, it does look like they're being a little too frugal. I mean, you've got enough cap space to do whatever you want this offseason. Is it you want them off the books for 2024? Is that the biggest issue?
Well, Schefter said that they're convinced, teams are convinced the Cardinals aren't going to carry Diop at this number. So if they're convinced of that, then the Cardinals need to call their bluff and pay him his money. Like, you have the money to pay him that. It doesn't affect your cap hit in 2024. He's more movable, trade deadline next offseason. You're not in the business of cutting your best player. And he is. He's their best player, if not, top 1 to 2 outside of Buda Baker, and Kyler Murray's not going to be ready to go. That's a horrific message to send to your fan base. You can't play in the sandbox of, well, we signed this contract, but it was Steve Keim, and now we don't really know if we want to. It's not your money. It's not Michael Bidwell's money. It's the cap that you get from the NFL. No one's going to have patience or sympathy if they cut him outright, which is why I don't think they would do it. They wouldn't survive for a team that's in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. They wouldn't survive a D-Hop cut. But I do think it's interesting now. Like, now that Beckham is gone off the market, the draft is 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. All these teams now that didn't get Beckham, that struck out in free agency, maybe that don't love these wideouts, Bo. It's like every other day, it's like, well, this team likes D-Hop. Well, this team might be interested. But until somebody trades for him, nobody's a front runner right now. As Brad mentioned, like, Dallas was very sincerely in the mix. I'd heard that. I put that out there right after the combine. We had multiple people tell us Cowboys were interested in DeAndre Hopkins, but the price tag in terms of both the cost in financial cap implications and then the draft compensation was too daunting for them. So they pivoted to, great value Diop, aka Brandon Cooks. And we'll see how that goes for him. Good luck with that. So then there's all the other teams that would welcome D-Hop, Buffalo and Kansas City and certainly New England, but don't want to pay the Cardinals asking price. I want to get to one of these tweets here. Perfect way to kick off the show. Our guy Mike in the chat. Boys, I'm having a 4 peaks. Kick him back on a Wednesday. Let's get it. Let's get it, Mike. Let's get this Hopkins trade done. If I'm Monty Ossenford, Bo, do you think that it behooves him to try to trade D-Hop before the NFL draft? Does it put extra pressure on him to have that kind of monkey on his back going into his first NFL draft? And then you've got this $30 million elephant in the room, like, oh shit, I got to take care of that problem. Or do you try to compartmentalize and say, nope, I can tackle my draft. If somebody comes along with a D-Hop trade, I can handle that too.
I hate to say it because we love entertaining discussions and we love to talk rumors and we like to talk about deals that have gone down and the assets that come in return, what you could project them to become, like especially with draft capital. But unfortunately, I think that Monty Ossenfort benefits greatly from being patient on this. And I think that when you look at his top 2 assets, the 3rd overall pick and DeAndre Hopkins, unfortunately, the market has turned to where he benefits from sitting on those until April 27th and 28th and until the best deal presents itself. So it really feels like unless somebody emerges, unless we have a surprise like an Easter Sunday OBJ signing, it seems like we're going to be waiting it out. I mean, with what's kind of become more of a cluttered idea of what the top of the draft looks like, we're also going to have to figure out with DeAndre Hopkins, as this wide receiver market, it continues to move a little bit, like who teams would rather kind of take on instead of trying to figure out the contract, right? Because you've got three top receivers maybe in this draft that teams would say, okay, maybe this is a guy that we could bring onto our roster, add to our wide receiver core. You've got the top wide receiver, the kid out of Ohio State, Jackson Jigga-Smith, right? And then you've got Zay Flowers from Boston College and then Quentin Johnston out of TCU. Once those guys maybe go off the board, and let's say it's early 2nd round, by the time that happens, there's like a run on the last 2 wide receivers that have close to a first round grade, then teams are like, oh, well, we're out of options now. Here's the next best one.
I'm going to be disrespectful and say all 3 of those guys are second-round picks in last year's draft class.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I've seen all 3 of those guys be mocked at the end of the first round. And again, that's where, going into this thing, you were not naive to think, we certainly did, Cardinals were in a position of power when you compare it to the free agent receiving class, which was god-awful. It was one of the worst in recent memory. This draft class, which, I mean, it's got some role players, some guys that may end up turning into number 1 wideouts, but nobody that stands out as a quintessential top 10 guy. We had 5 going the top 20 last year alone. Johan Dotson went before the Arizona Cardinals ever thought before pick 23. So to me, it's like, okay, at the end of the day, why don't you make these teams sweat it out? Well, you would do that in all actuality to be able, as Bo mentioned, to hedge your bet that you're going to be in a position that a team is going to freak out, their owner's going to freak out, their GM, and just say, look at our depth chart, our receiving core. You got to be able to score. You got to be able to move the football downfield vertically. If you're New England, if you're Kansas City, I know Patrick Mahomes is all worldly, but like you're going to roll into the season with Kadarius Toney, gadget players, your number 1 wideout, right? They've had huge issues. Sky Moore underperformed last year. Kelsey's another year older. I don't know. I am not in a position. The Cardinals should not be in a position where they outright cut or give away DeAndre Hopkins. That would be an egregious error. And we talked to Brad about it yesterday. If Darren Waller can go for a third, albeit a late third, that's the minimum you need to get for D-Hop, is a 3rd-round pick. And I know somebody in the chat said Julio Jones went for a 2nd-round pick. And that's where we kind of had the barometer. Same age, if not a year younger, much more productive. Julio had big-time injuries. Hopkins, by all accounts, is healthy and ready to go. It's that damn contract. Let's talk about the uniforms. Before we get to that, I want to remind everybody, rock your new uniform potentially this fall. BetMGM Sportsbook at the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. And get this, right now we're having Suns watch parties at BetMGM Sportsbook at State Farm Stadium for all away playoff games. So if you want to hang out when the Suns aren't in the Valley or taking on whomever in the gauntlet of the Western Conference, come do it with PHNX Suns for the postseason. PHNX Sun Watch Party presented by Nutrio will feature food and drink specials, giveaways, BetMGM deposit matches, and more. And get this, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, super simple. Use bonus code PHNX. You're going to get up to $200 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the app, BetMGM, and sign up using that bonus code PHNX. You place a pregame moneyline wager in the amount of at least 10 bones. 10 bones on any market, standard odds price. We got a whole bunch of playoff basketball for you to wager on. Diamondbacks are in action. Anything Major League Baseball, you're going to receive $200 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of the outcome of your wager. NHL hockey's coming up pretty soon. Just make sure, if you dabble on anything, use that bonus code PHNX when you sign up so you can get your bonus bets. Again, we are going to be spending every flipping game day on Sundays this fall. I don't know if you guys saw the price for NFL Sunday ticket. If you're thinking about dabbling on that with the old YouTube, it's expensive. Guess what? You can come party with Bo and I every single Sunday at BetMGM Sportsbook at the Great Lawn for free. We're going to be having a good time, home and away, watch parties, giveaways, whatever you want to do it with us at BetMGM Sportsbook. And now you get to listen to my degenerate friend Shane Diefenbach talk about this disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
You're watching the YouTube show, you see that beautiful building, brand new building right there in the middle of Tailgate City, the Great Lawn over at State Farm Stadium. It's going to be electric each and every Sunday, home or away. We're going to be there, and you're going to want to get your bets in. Get ahead of it. Take advantage of the deal we got going on that Johnny mentioned and use that code PHNX. But before all that goes down, almost 2 weeks from tomorrow, We're going to be out there at Four Peaks Brewery in Tempe. We're going to be celebrating the Arizona Cardinals, ushering in a new era, a new player is going to join this roster. I don't know if it's 3rd overall. I don't know if it's 7th overall, 11th, maybe a new team added to the mix. We'll tell you about that in a little bit, but we're going to be at Four Peaks to celebrate that with you. Reserve your free spot right now. Already got a bunch of people RSVP'd, and a big thank you to everybody that's already locked in their spot, and it is absolutely locked in. Come enjoy the festivities with us. Of course, beer specials, food specials, and live coverage all first round Thursday night, April 27th, Four Peaks. Get out there. We got a little, we're going to warm you up actually as the Coyotes have their season wrap party tomorrow night. Go to Four Peaks, do that. I got a buddy, he's having a kid soon. We love to go to Four Peaks. I know we're going to go there in between the wrap party and the draft party. I love Four Peaks. Personally, you can't go wrong. The bourbon barrel beer, it's fantastic. It's aged. It's so smooth. You get it on any of their IPAs. Got to be 21 years or older. Kilt Lifter. You got their new green tea lager. They got so many tasty beers on tap. Great full menu. That's so amazing. Appetizers, entrees, and of course, dessert. Get it at Four Peaks. Join us at a draft party, April 27th.
Yeah, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't do this kind of thing often. I've never gone out to an event before, like this with PHNX, by the way. Listen, it's going to be chill, the best way possible. We're going to have TVs blaring the NFL draft. Bo and I are going to be hanging out until we go live for the duration of the first round. We've got special guests that we're excited to announce coming up here in the coming weeks of who's going to join us on air. Of course, you can count on our guy, Howard Balzer. Go PHNX.com. He's going to be popping in. Just come and mingle and hang out, have some good food with some good people. And we feel very fortunate to have this community with us, behind us, hanging out every single day at 4 p.m. And we just want an extension of that, baby. And we get to do that at Four Peaks, Bo.
Absolutely. I mean, you got the people there in the chat every day, and we love all of them. Pick and spreads. Eris, you see Han Shot First, Jose, everybody, Arizona Animal, everybody that's here daily basis, but also the people that don't participate in the chat, the people that we don't hear from but are watching the show on a daily basis. A big shout out to you. We want to see you out at the draft party as well. Like Johnny said, it's going to be a great hangout. It's not going to be like, we're not going to put you up on mic and expect to get a breakdown in the next draft pick. We do want to see you out there and hang out with you, potentially buy you a beer. It's for everybody.
We're not big time in anybody. We're looking to do some hanging, some serious hanging, and I'm going to be there for like 10 hours. It's going to be great. Sly, see you in the chat, my guy. Dylan Richards, we haven't forgot about you. Michael Evans, our good friends. PHNX Sports on YouTube just dropped in the RSVP event sheet. Again, free 99. Our guy Reese, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. My guy, did Tyree Wilson meet with the Arizona Cardinals? You bet your ass he did. We're going to talk about the Cardinals' top 30 visits, where it stands today. Your boy put a little time and some research in to see who the Cardinals spent some of their precious top 30 visits on. But first things first, you guys thought we'd lead with this. We gave you a little appetizer with D-Hop. Not sure if you saw this, Twitter streets or not. The Arizona Cardinals put out a teaser video. Let's roll the clip for their brand new Bo Brack Uni tease. How about it? What are we looking at right here?
All right, we got the Sonoran Desert. We got some longitude and latitude coordinates here. We've got a box with the Cardinals logo and the Nike symbol. One of the most, I mean, as far as brand awareness, does anything go harder than the Nike swoosh? I don't think so. Trying to decipher anything from this, you've got some letters that switch into coming soon, and then the drone shot just pans out. And here we're left just wanting more and more. But here's one thing that it confirmed. It confirmed the reports that we've been talking about all off season long. New uniforms are coming. We're on the precipice. Can I say that? Is the English major in you? Do you like the word the precipice?
Yeah, you used it correctly. Yeah, I'm not going to give you a red.
I just wanted a pat on the back. An expert.
We're credits to Arizona Football Daily Podcast. I think was one of the first people to put it out there.
Yeah.
In travel, Tyler put it out there. And then the cherry on top, Mr. Kyle Odegaard, who's been on fire lately, friend of the program, put it out there affirmative about a week ago that this was happening. It's happening now, presumably before the draft. So we're going to get to the speculation as to what the uniforms are going to look like. but we got to shout out a couple bros on Twitter who went out to the location of where this was. So there's coordinates here, and people doing a nice job trying to track and breaking down exactly where that package was, that box was, the briefcase. T. Shelton and slow motion.
Was this is this from the Arizona Insiders new Twitter account? Is this it? Was this what they were doing some digging here? Were they out there in the yellow flowers? No, this is T. Shelton.
That's an insider right there, baby. Give that guy a blue check mark. That's fantastic. That's the best thing I've seen in a hot minute with this franchise. Hire that man, Cardinals. He's doing your job for you.
Who
Dude's
took
out
the
there
pick for him. Who's the unsung hero behind the camera?
It's great that they're out there. The comment was, we were out there for a while. We were looking for it for a while. That's legit, man. They just drove out there and started looking for a briefcase. Shame on the Cardinals for taking the briefcase away. You should have just left it there for your fan base to discover. That would have been awesome.
It would have been phenomenal. I mean, people were asking you and I if we were going to drive out there and do the show remote from there. That would have been our guy Jacob would have probably gone.
I would have said no.
He would have lobbied and said no. He just said no and lobbied for us to be fired for making such a bold idea. No, I mean, but so we've got the coordinates on there, and people were able to find this. Do we have the? Let's see what the coordinates. So this is the screenshot that we got for the Sonoran Desert, which is vast. 33.
Why would they put the coordinates on here if you couldn't go find it, Bo?
I don't know, just so it's cool. It's more like Mission Impossible kind of operation, right?
Yeah.
So somebody thought, they saw 427 in here. Of course, that's in the coordinates here, and then but that would be on first round draft day.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's kind of burying a big moment for this team. There's also 416 in the coordinates.
Yes.
Do you buy in anything? Like, is there an Easter egg in these coordinates?
No, probably not. I think that's the coordinates to where they put it, and they were just screwing around. I think the uniforms are going to get unveiled next week. I think the week before the draft, maybe Thursday of next week. I think would be appropriate. Listen, it could be on the 16th, but the 16th, what is that? That's Sunday. They're not debuting it on Sunday.
Right.
They're going to do it on a weekday. I think a week before the draft.
This loose in the chat. Anybody got anything on what these coordinates? I mean, 33. It's Antonio.
Get out of here with that negativity. They're going to be great. Have you seen their new uniforms? Come on now, Michaela. We got to get good vibes in here for these unis.
Wait, what was Max saying? I didn't miss that.
She was like, why do I have this feeling the new uniforms are going to flop? What does that mean? Flop how?
There's so much pressure on these uniforms to be great.
But we've talked about this. It's hard to fuck it up. Now, will they? Will this franchise? A lot of people are throwing in silver. And listen, that's not my cup of tea, but I think you're on to something.
The Panthers are trying to get rid of their silver. Like, do you not have to look across the league to see mistakes from other teams?
Well, who told you on this show silver face mask about a month ago?
Yeah.
We've been hearing silver face mask. And that's fine. But like silver uniform, like Spaceman, okay. So let's talk about Kyle Odegaard put out a bunch of Michaela. I'm just nervous. Okay, this one thing the Cardinals have going for them right now. That's true because once they unveil these, for better or worse, then we can't say, well, at least the new uniforms are coming out, right? But hopefully, we got somebody like Will Anderson toting them out. I think they got to come out before the draft so they could sell them at their big lawn event and a bunch of other opportunity to open up the team store like we thought they were doing 2 weeks ago. And I overreacted, and I had that stupid car show instead. They have to give time for the fans to come out and buy the uniform before the draft, because the draft is, there's other stuff going on. All right, so Kyle Odegaard was on Twitter, and people are asking him, and Kyle's such a little fibber. He knows what the uniform.
You think he does?
Yes, of course he does. He says he hasn't seen a picture, but then people are asking him specifics about the uniform, and he was like, "No, that's not going to be on it." So Kyle is abundantly adamant that there's not going to be a state flag on it. Does that disappoint you?
A little bit.
Yeah, me too.
I also saw from Kyle that this is just the regurgitate what Kyle Odegaard tweets show. It's that the Cardinals on the front of the jersey, the little Cardinals, is going to switch to Arizona.
That's whatever. That's fine.
And then he said he doesn't believe that there's going to be, and I don't know if he's just speculating or if he knows for sure, that there's not going to be a big emphasis on yellow.
So what are they going to look like then? Are they going to look like let's do the video, Jacob, one more time. Let's get a look at the briefcase. So the briefcase is silver and red for our audio listeners, but it's kind of like a beige silver.
I'm sorry. Did you say a beige silver?
Yeah, like a beige silver.
I don't know if that's possible. You can merge those two colors together.
Johnny, people can tint video.
Yeah. So it's a silver case. Can we confirm that?
Most a lot of briefcases like that.
There it is. Confirmed. You got the red. It looks like the same cardinal red that we're familiar with, right?
My head hurts. I just want these to be nice looking. And now we've got no minimal yellow. We've got no state flag. I mean, that you take those two elements out, you can throw away a lot of the mock-ups.
If all that's in this box is the piping from the old uniform, and they're just using that to get rid of the piping, like it just stores the piping so it's off the jerseys, and the jerseys are just the uniforms without the hard piping, I'm cool with that.
Stop.
What?
That's the lamest shit. If you're gonna change your uniform,
bracing for impact. Like I
am first time
I'm getting cold feet here.
20 years.
I'm getting cold feet.
You are.
I mean, you would think like it's unfuck-upable, but come on.
If you're gonna change them, then change them. Do something rash. Do something bold to get people talking. Don't tweak what you already have. Don't tweak the shitty uniforms.
I agree.
Make them new.
Don't
Put
shine
some
that turd up.
Right?
Get rid of the turd.
Yeah, the helmets are going to be, there's some silver and sparkle on the helmets. So like if you're hearing silver in the uniform, that would make sense because you want the helmet to match the uniform. But like name a silver jersey for any team, collegiate or NFL. I can't think of one.
Right. No, they're not going to be out there in silver.
That could be their second color.
Look like a Vegas show performer out there on the football field.
What if their dominant color is red and their secondary color is silver?
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously it's going to be red, and then if they incorporate yellow more, whether it's
they're not doing yellow. They're not doing yellow.
You're just saying it's yellow's off the board after what we thought. We have to see
Kyle said yellow's not going to have a big emphasis on yellow. Well, there's no yellow on their current uniform, correct?
Yeah. So I mean, they're not going to make the numbers yellow. They're not going to make a jersey yellow, but they'll have it. Like maybe they get a nameplate that's yellow.
I think that's bigger than. I think that would qualify as significant. And from Kyle's comments, and we're trying to get Kyle on the show on a couple different levels. So we're working on that. But I think anywhere yellow, that's significant on the jersey. Nameplate or face mask, as Mike says in the chat, although we haven't heard that.
But you said that the new helmet is going to have kind of the same feel as the black helmet. Remember the black helmet? It was black, and then it had, if you look closely, it had some red sparkle in it. Right. And the white is going to have some sparkle in it as well,
with potentially a silver face mask.
Yeah. That's fine. So, I don't care, and the bird remains this beautiful.
Right. They're not changing the bird.
Logo,
they should tell you the logo on the case is the same logo they've been using. I felt pretty good about what I thought I was gonna see, because I'm like, okay, they've seen the mock-ups, they know what people want. People are nostalgic for the 90s versions. But with Kyle's comments today, I have not seen the jersey, and some people are saying it's leaked online. We couldn't find it. Now it's like, well, there's minimal yellow, if none at all. There's no state flag, right? They're not. He also said, Bo, they're not doing any kind of like sand camo vibes with that. Like that's
right.
That's just a coincidence because they're in Arizona. They put the briefcase in the desert. So it's like, what the hell are they going to do then? Like, what can they do? You take out all those elements, which have dominated the mock-ups for 20 years.
Right.
Just a red jersey with some white silver lettering, I don't know.
I mean, you hope they're not exactly like the Great Britain World Baseball Classic uniforms, but no, I mean, what do you expect? I think that
silver could get really dated quickly. If
I agree
with silver.
I just don't think silver is going to be in the mix. I just don't.
Why though?
Because I just don't. Anybody who's like a designer is gonna tell you that. It's like let's shy away from chrome because you have a history of not changing your uniforms for a long time. So let's get something that's gonna stick around for a while.
They had to have done like focus groups with these, right? Like put it in front of like 20, 30 people, focus groups.
That's the logical thing to do. That
people had to sign NDAs. This is not just Michael Bidwell and a couple of his cronies like in the back saying, "Oh yeah, people are gonna love that."
I wish I could say that wouldn't be the case, but recent history has proven us wrong on that.
God damn it! I'm so excited about these.
I know. You think we get a leak before they get released? I think we do.
Yeah, because that's how the Cardinals operate. It'll probably be from the insider's account by accident, and it'll get leaked. I want to be. I've been positive about the uniform since day one. I've said
in the chat we got a guy bio_1209 does a great job. Follow him on Instagram. Has a great account that he's been churning out uniform concepts for years now.
Yeah,
and if they didn't check that out before they went to the drawing board on their new unis, then they're disconnected from their fan base. And
Cardinal fans have done the best work. The fans are doing the best work.
And honestly, what I would like is a tweak to the throwbacks from the late 90s, early 2000s, just with a modern look. You just don't get the feeling they're doing that.
Kyle says they're not doing that. Kyle says there's not going to be a state flag and they're not going to incorporate yellow. So it's like spaceman suits is what I'm thinking now, like with some red.
Stop.
I want to be. I've become a cynic now. I wanted to be positive on this no matter what. Classy nasty. Does this new uniform make me look fat, Johnny? Am I going to be suiting up? I did buy some football pants off Amazon, wore them on our tailgate show last fall. If you chose to participate and watch that program, pour one out to that show, by the way. Okay. So Dylan Richards saying, check your DMs, just send some perfect unis. We need to do another mock-up uniform. Now that we have some new information, like we need to have everybody put together their best mock-up of what they think the uniform is going to look like, not what it should be, what they think. Right. And then we should do a giveaway of who's the closest or something. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. I'm looking at these from Dylan, and thanks for the DM. And they're cool. They just don't look like anything that they look like a lot of things that have been, you can cross off the list as far as the state flag. These have black face masks, and it just doesn't seem like that is the direction they're going. But hopefully completely like there's a smoke screen out there. Hopefully maybe, Kyle's getting fed bad information.
The non-incorporation of the state flag is a huge blow because I just feel like that.
Arizona, the actual name of the state, on their uniform.
The flag is cool.
Here's my ultimate prediction is you're going to be disappointed, which is a bummer. Because at some point you would have taken anything. You would have taken them going out in the Oscar Mayer Wiener outfits as new uniforms.
But what's going to suck the worst, the hardest is, I agree with that, because you always knew the longer we went on with these god-awful dumpster fire unis that they currently have, the more noise there would be. Change them. Okay, so then they eventually rip the Band-Aid off and change them. And if they're bad again, then you got to live with them another 20 years. I'm 35 years old. So the next time this team's going to have new uniforms after this offseason is when I'm 55 years old. That's a sad state of affairs. Maybe they can win a Lombardi once or twice during that time period. But Kyler Murray, a bunch of other players behind the scenes called out these uniforms, said they're terrible. Like, my only saving grace, if they have any respect for Kyler Murray, they would have consulted Kyler and said, Kyler, what do you think of these? Do these vibe? Do they look decent? Hey, Buddha, what do you think of these uniforms? Do you
feel like I feel like Kyler Murray, his on-field style is way better than his off-the-field style?
Like, you don't like how Kyler Murray dresses?
Yeah, like remember the green suit that he wore to the game last year?
Bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. I think Kyler and the fan base are in alignment that the uniforms are terrible.
Yeah.
And I think Listen, winning cures everything, and then if you win in them, they become vintage, they become chic, they become what you're known for. They just don't win enough.
This conversation took a horrible turn. It went south quicker than I expected. I didn't expect it. This should be a celebration. This is finally happening.
No,
so it's easy. Cardinals are getting a new uniform. We love that. Hit the like button.
I blame
just
Michaela.
in celebration of the fact that new unis are coming probably within the next 7 to 10 days.
Michaela put doubt in my mind that these are probably going to flop, Johnny. You're going to be disappointed. Now I got Bo telling me he's going to be disappointed. I think when we have our emergency pod, because you bet your sweet ass when these drop, we'll do an emergency pod. We will dissect every inch of this uniform. I'm going to, Michaela, it's going to be great, guys. I'm going to feel pretty good about whatever they trot out.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel pretty good about
because it can't, you would assume, and it can't get any worse than what the
uniforms they have right now are embarrassing beyond belief. Like I have 10 Cardinal jerseys in my closet. I wear them. Like I support this player, Beanie Wells. You know, I support Josh Rosen. I support Kyler Murray. I support the player. I'm embarrassed to wear.
What's crazy is like you go back to Beanie, who was what, 2009.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned players a decade later. And I know like it went from like Reebok to Nike, but and they tweaked it like
I have some
very
Reeboks.
minimal. And it's the same jersey. Like I can't believe that they've gone from 2000, nearly 2 decades.
Yes, you can. You can believe that. For sure you can. With this owner, with this franchise.
It really is crazy how long that they settled for like the bare minimum effort. Like,
they bought themselves
fine. You know, it's fine. Oh,
they bought themselves some time with the black uniform.
Yeah.
Like I have not bought a red or a white one in forever because those are ghastly. The last few that I bought a couple of years ago were red. Were black. I have a black Kyler Murray #1 jersey. Is the draft party going through Sunday? I wish, Doc. I mean, we're gonna be live. Bo and I are basically gonna be live Thursday through Saturday nonstop. If
I'm gonna leave Thursday morning, I'm gonna say farewell to my wife and child, and I'll say I'll see you in 3 days.
Yep. The draft party is 2 until the end of the first round, and then some. The draft party conceivably is 12 hours long, potentially at Four Peaks. Friday night, Bo and I are going to be live, and Saturday, Bo and I will be live. So if you want to simultaneously watch us in the NFL draft, greatly appreciated. Professor, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Johnny, we know this franchise will let us down with these uniforms. I hope I'm wrong, but I know we messed this up. I think that sentence, 2 sentences right there, encompasses 99.9% of the fan base. I want to be wrong. Prove me wrong, Cardinals, but you will fuck it up.
I think the new leadership, that dirty dog Monty Awesome Fort,
but they don't have any say in it. They didn't get to say.
You don't think they run it by them and they say, silver sequence, probably not the best to go with here.
Little pizzazz, baby. The pizzazz is coming. Man, this team, you love them. You love them when they're so dysfunctional. You got to love them harder. It's like when you're a parent, it's your kids, they're acting up. You got to love them even harder. And Cardinals, we love them. Circle K, we love them even more. We're so excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. I just used my 20 cents off filling up at the gas tank this morning. Great feeling. Be able to walk inside. Robust selection. Coffee, beer, snacks, of course, premium gas at not a premium price. Listen, March Madness may be over, but Major League Baseball, Diamondbacks can't stop winning. Load up on snacks for the D-backs. Fill up your tank en route to go watch the D-backs and the Phoenix Suns kick all kinds of ass in the Western Conference playoffs. Do with our friends at Circle K. Polar Pops, iced coffee, 12 packs of beer, Red Bull, Monster energy drinks. Hell yeah. Again, it's getting hot out. You guys are taking trips to the coast. We love to see it. Maybe, road tripping it down to Cabo, whatever you want to do. Make sure you fill up at Circle K. You don't want to be stuck out in, rural desert and you're visiting a mom and pop, what do you call it? Fill up tank. And there's only one tank and it's like 10 cars deep. You don't know if you're going to make it. Circle K's got you covered. Plenty of pumps for you and your family at not a premium price. Make sure you're not missing out on all the good stuff they've got going on. Convenience for not a convenient price. Super convenient, I should say. Head to circlek.com/store locator That's circlek.com/store locator to find the Circle K nearest to you.
We were gas bros. I was gassing up as well today at Circle K, taking advantage of those low gas prices. But if you were looking inside my truck, you would see a very well-known name brand set of sunglasses collecting dust, basically, on my dashboard. I won't call anybody out. We'll call them some Bayrans. Some Bayrans are out there. You can probably figure out who I'm talking about. Or my wife has some Jowie Mims or some Folkleys.
Yeah.
I've got my Shady Rays now. We're a Shady Rays family. You can get a great price on some legitimate sunglasses. You can't go wrong with Shady Rays. They're unbelievable. I'm converted. No longer going to go spend a big dollar amount on these sunglasses that you can get a better quality from Shady Rays. And you can take on the summer with the best shades, 50% off when you buy 2 or more pairs. You got to check them out right now. Sunglasses that last. They've got the polarized shades and affordable price. Do not miss out on this opportunity exclusively for our listeners, our viewers. You can go to Shady Rays. They're giving out the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code PHNX. Get 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars, not by just Johnny and myself going to the website and giving them a 5-star review. 250,000 people have spoken and have given Shady Rays 5-star ratings.
Dylan Richard sent that jersey swap concept. It makes me mad because what Dylan sent me is fantastic, and I would take that. And I just have a feeling it's not going to look anything like those concepts. So we don't know what the uniform is. We don't know who the Cardinals are going to draft, but we know who they're meeting with and who they have interest in talking to. So for those of you who don't know, you get 30 pre-draft visits, intimate visits, one-on-one with the team and the prospect. And I think where there's smoke, there's fire with where the Cardinals are choosing to spend their time and with what position group. So we've put our heads together, collected resources on Twitter, online. This is what we have thus far of the Arizona Cardinals' top 30 visits through today. Now, we'll do our job to update this over the coming week and a half. But, Bo, you look at this group of names, that they're about halfway through their 30 visits. They've met with 6 to 7 offensive linemen. They've met with 2 first-round defensive linemen. They've met with 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers, as well as a couple defensive backs. Anything stand out to you on this list?
Yeah, they're looking into doing their homework on guys that are going to protect their top asset in Kyler Murray, that offensive line. They are going to do everything to identify some players that they can draft and develop and do what the previous regime could not do, successfully draft starting caliber offensive linemen outside of DJ Humphries. So Paris Johnson from Ohio State, Broderick Jones from Georgia. Look at these schools these guys went to. I mean, you've got a couple SEC guys and then some Big Ten hog mollies. I love it. I mean, I love it. I love who they're kind of kicking around and getting to know better and figure out, they have the tape and now they're trying to figure out what's going on between the ears and talking to these young kids and see who's going to be the best fit for this organization.
Yeah, I love the tackles they've met with. I like the running backs too. Met with the kid from TCU. Met with Tank Bisbee from Auburn either yesterday or today. I think this team's going to take it back in the mid-rounds. Wouldn't hate that. Avila out of TCU is my draft crush. I want the Cardinals to take him. I saw a couple mocks recently. He was going like middle of the second round. I think Cardinals should take him at 34. I think that'd be fantastic. But I'm with you. I look at that list, and it's like we know they like Tyree Wilson. Think of that what you will. Matsy, the kid from Pittsburgh, I think that's a very logical trade down option for the Cardinals. And the more you think about like pick 11, maybe even like the tail end of the top 10, you get the best non-Jalen Carter defensive tackle. Certainly Pittsburgh's got, reputation of churning out quality defensive linemen. But I look at those tackles and I'm thinking to myself, like, Humphries, I think, is gone next year. Beacham's year to year. Josh Jones is going to be a free agent. He was not drafted by this franchise. We saw how this team treated Byron Murphy and Zach Allen. Like, at least if you're, Josh Jones, you're going to get a year with this coaching staff, but they want a left tackle for the next 10 years. That's what they're going to shoot for, whether it's Wright from Tennessee, one of these other prospects. No Skoronski on there, and I think that leads us to believe, number one, met with him at the Combine potentially, pro day visit, but I think maybe they think of him as a guard. I mean, you look at those tackles they met with, they've got him. Those are big human beings. He's undersized, and it's like, can the Cardinals afford to take a guard early on to be the first pick of this rebuild? You know, we've made the argument. Depends how far you trade down. Do you end up with multiple ones? But they're prioritizing premium positions. I don't necessarily understand the wideout infatuation unless you feel like somebody's there at 34 you just can't pass up. Then I can get my arms around it. But it feels like, and we've said this since day one, you've been watching this program. We know they like Christian Gonzalez. I don't know how they feel about Witherspoon, but they want to talk themselves into an impact line of scrimmage beast playmaker with their first overall pick, whether it's Tyree or Will Anderson or the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh or one of these offensive linemen. All those tackles can conceivably go between picks 10, 11, all the way to 31. So I like it. I like where they're prioritizing.
For sure. And, you know, there's questions in the chat about why not Will Anderson Jr.? Why haven't they met with somebody like Christian Gonzalez? I mean, they talked to Will Anderson Jr. at the Combine. I mean, Will Anderson Jr. is probably, you know, outside of the quarterbacks in this draft class, you know, the prospect that we know the most about. So, you know, you only get 30 of these. So if you want to, you know, really get insight onto who these prospects are, you have to kind of, you have to figure out, like, they talked to Anderson at the Combine. They've got the tape, obviously a ton of tape, and a lot of people who have vouched for Anderson. So there's not as big of a mystery there. So when you hear about a tackle from Maryland, you probably need to do your homework on it, or you need to know more about these wide receivers. Or were they a product of the system? Were they a product of playing Big 12 defenses? You know, you got to figure out, you know, are these guys, how are they going to translate between the years from the college level to the NFL level? So I think sometimes guys are overlooked or not brought in for top 30 because what else do you need to know about them? I mean, they're pretty much who you thought they were.
I don't think they're going to be it on Nolan Smith. I haven't heard them connected to him. Peter Schrager said he's somebody that he's heard that's going to go top 8 to 10. And while I think that
Nolan Smith, huh?
Yeah. I think that the undersized edge rusher. Yeah.
Nolan Smith, like I saw it with everybody else. I saw his combine. He was unbelievable, right? You look at the tape, what he's able to do at Georgia. But I mean, talk about Isaiah Simmons type. You know, how does he translate to the NFL just because of his size? And, you know, he was so big at as far as not stature at Georgia and instrumental in their success. But like, how does that translate to playing on Sundays? I think that's a huge question mark that we've seen play out in front of our very eyes. Like sometimes it doesn't translate despite how good those guys are and how much of athletic freaks they are.
Joel, great super chat question. Thank you so much. $4.99. Say they trade back still in the top 10. Would you rule out that they don't trade back again to get more draft picks? So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. They trade back and they're in the top 10. Could they potentially trade back again? I think absolutely. We have it sourced. They like this draft class. They don't love it, right? They don't. It's not a draft class where they view 7 to 10, Pro Bowl-esque kind of players in the top 15. And I know Will Anderson is lumped in with the group of Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, maybe a couple offensive linemen, Tyree Wilson. There's a group of like 7 or 8 guys. So by a numbers game, Bo, if quarterbacks go early and you're able to trade down, somebody wants to come up for, a top position that you're not infatuated with, whether it's quarterback or otherwise, let's say Will Levis is still hanging around. I think they would entertain that. You don't want to go too far down. You don't want to be there suddenly 17, 18, 19, and you're taking guys that you had graded the top of the second round. But they want future 1s and 2s. They want to be able to have flexibility going into next year's draft and beyond. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I would still say, though, if you ask me, they're going to go from 3 to either 4, 7, 9, 11, something like that. One of those 4 destinations, and they're going to get a future 1.
Yeah. I mean, was it Ian Rappaport mentioned today? He was talking about the Cardinals and their situation with the 3rd overall pick. That's picking up steam as we're nearly 2 weeks away from the draft, as they're now the team that everybody's infatuated with, and that if they need a quarterback, they need to do business with. And, he mentioned Indianapolis, that they could secure whatever quarterback prospect they want by moving one spot. And it seems like it's a simple deal, right? And then you got Vegas, you've got Tennessee, the usual suspects that we've been talking about here. And then he added at 12th overall, their second first round pick, the Houston Texans to the conversation, which is it's fascinating. I mean, did they during this draft process fall in love with Will Anderson and then also say we need a quarterback too, so let's do it? I mean, but
bizarre.
They would have to give up a ton of future assets for a team that is really just getting started in their rebuild.
I don't buy this at all. And I could be proven wrong, but I mean, you take your quarterback second overall, whomever you want, and then you're trading up for Will Anderson Jr., who, I mean, we think he's elite, but a lot of people in the NFL don't. They think he's great.
I mean, he's met with Houston. Will Anderson Jr. has done 2 top 30 visits, and the first one was the Houston Texans. Like, does DeMeco Ryans love the kid? Does Nick Caserio?
I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. Here's what I also would be fine with: take Will Anderson Jr. at second, and then give the Arizona Cardinals a golden ticket with 2 quarterbacks remaining there, and Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud or whomever. I mean, I saw Bryce Young is meeting with Houston formally today, but if you're Houston and you feel like you're going to be competitive in that shit division, I know the conference is tough, and you got to compete in that conference, and you have a quarterback, like, you have to take quarterback at 2, and you're going to trade up for an outside linebacker pass rusher and give up future 1s and 2s. That, I mean, unless your head coach, who played linebacker, he was an inside linebacker, but he's worked with Nick Bosa, he's seen elite pass rushers, is adamant that they have to go up and get this guy. It's not good team building. Now, the Cardinals aren't going to do it, and I love Will Anderson. It's not a knock on Will Anderson, but I mean, to go up from where they picking 12, to go up from 12 to 3, to go get Will Anderson
deal. Baseline.
So you're going to give up 3 1s for Will Anderson? No, I don't think you are. I think this is just bullshit 2 weeks out. They're trying to be cute in the media. I mean, where it really hurts the Cardinals is if they traded, the pick. If they go from 2 to wherever and they try to get more picks from somebody else that wants to come up for a quarterback. But again, they have pick 12. Like, how many more picks do you need, Houston? Like, pick your quarterback. And then if you want to trade down from 12, you can do that. Houston's they're irritating. Like, at least Carolina went up. They did their thing. They're going to take a quarterback, right? Yeah. Like, Houston, make up your mind. Stop with this garbage. We're trying to trade down here. Just don't fuck it up for us.
Does it feel like we get closer to this that it's going to be a draft day trade, or do you think Monty pulls off a deal between now and then?
I would say maybe like the day before, which would be good for our show. I would love like a win. If Monty Ossenfor, if you're listening to me, my bald friend, please, Wednesday around 4 p.m., April 26th, pull off a trade so we can all break it down. We can do mocks upon mocks. We can do mocks into Thursday morning. But no, I think we're going to get it on Thursday. I think it's going to be, you mentioned Justin Fields, trade down, trade up, whatever. And I know the Bears didn't expect Fields to fall that far, but yeah, I think it'll be on the day of the draft, which it's fine. That's fine. Maybe we'll do 2 shows that day.
The day of the draft?
Yeah. What if it happens like Thursday morning? Will we do 2 shows?
Probably. I mean, that's emergency podcast worthy for sure.
Pouring out for the emergency pod this offseason, by the way. It's been an emergency list Cardinals offseason, which, yeah, you hate to see. But is there a better mock draft, though? Let's be real, not to get off topic, than the Friday morning mock draft when all those first-round prospects fall into day 2, and then you have a top second-round pick or potentially multiple? That's the best mock draft. Oh, shit, we can get so-and-so pick 34. He's there for us. Oh, and then we have 41 from Tennessee or whomever. Hell yeah. That's the best mock draft.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't wait to break it down with everybody on Friday and then we'll fire the mics back up for 2 more rounds that day after our first round extravaganza the day before at Four Peaks. RSVP now. You can check out our socials for it, PHNX_sports, PHNX_Cardinals, or if Johnny or myself. Got to check out all the great work of our guy, Howard Balzer, as well. Go PHNX.com. Become a diehard. We had a brand new diehard come to the crew yesterday.
Joel.
Yeah, Joel, big thanks to Joel joining the family, picking out a couple of classic shirts. We got the Bird on the Ball shirt, you got the Cardinals one, and you got a D-backs one. Can't go wrong with those shirts from the PHNX locker. You become a diehard, you can get some free swag as well. Just got to become a diehard to do so. You could unlock some great articles from our great writers, including Howard Balzer. But if you sign up to read Howard's work, put in that code HOWARD Howard, and does wonders for it. Become a diehard today. Check it out. Go phnx.com and phnxlocker.com.
Yeah, if you're skeptical of the Cardinals' new threads, which of course you should be, I can tell you right now, don't be skeptical of the PHNX merchandise locker. Bo and I have input on all the tees for the Arizona Cardinal-esque kind of shirts, PHNX Cardinals, I should say. So go check them out if you haven't already. And again, major discounts for diehards. You won't be sorry that you did, like Bo's celebratory tee. And then I support all of our other fine programming here at Go PHNX Sports with my Coyotes tee. I just ordered my Kevin Durant Ask Slim Reaper shirt, blue. Love it so much. I just ordered the classic Redbird football shirt with the bird running with the ball. I'm going to wear that on our draft party show Thursday, April 27th with all of our friends. I think Michaela said we got over 50 RSVP. We love that. But we know there's more than 50 of you guys out there, and we want to see every single one of you coming out to Tempe, Four Peaks, hanging with myself and Bo. It's just going to be us. We're just going to be hanging with some of our other PHNX personalities. We're going to order a bunch of food. We're going to get a bunch of drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, whatever you dabble, and we're going to get after this first round of the 2023 NFL Draft with this franchise that we know and love, the Arizona Cardinals. We're back tomorrow. Bo Brack, Johnny Venerable here on your premier Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. For Bo Brack, I'm Johnny Venerable. See you tomorrow.